Imagine for a second that you're standing in a very specific gap in time. Behind you is a world of rotary phones, encyclopedias, and the requirement to be home before the streetlights came on. In front of you is a world of instant gratification, infinite scrolling, and an algorithm that knows what you want before you do. If you feel like you have one foot in a dusty library and the other in a high-speed data center, you aren't losing your mind. You are likely a Xennial. Born between 1976 and 1985, you belong to a microgeneration that witnessed the greatest technological shift in human history, right as your brain was reaching its peak development. You are the glitch in the matrix, the last generation to have a truly private childhood and the first to master the digital frontier. Today, we're going to dive into why this tiny window of birth years created a group of people who are arguably the most resilient, adaptable, and misunderstood humans on the planet. If you've ever felt like you don't quite fit the cynicism of Gen X or the digital obsession of millennials, stick around. We're about to explain exactly why your hybrid brain is actually your greatest superpower. Think back to your teenage years. Do you remember the sheer anxiety of calling your crush on a landline? You had to navigate the parental gatekeeper. You had to have a conversation with their father just to get a chance to speak to them. There was no texting, no sliding into DMs. You had to have social skills before you had a social media profile. This is the hallmark of the Xennial experience, an unplugged childhood. We are the last people who will ever know what it feels like to be truly unreachable. If you were out with your friends at the mall or riding bikes through the woods, you were effectively off the grid. This wasn't a choice, it was the reality. And while it sounds primitive to Gen Z, it gave us something that is now becoming a luxury, the ability to be bored. That boredom fueled creativity, independence, and a sense of self that wasn't dictated by likes or comments.
But then, just as we were hitting our late teens and early 20s, the world flipped. We went from recording songs off the radio, carefully trying to stop the tape before the DJ started talking, to Napster and the birth of the MP3. We are digital immigrants with native fluency. Unlike Gen X, who often view technology as a tool they had to learn later in life, or millennials who grew up with a smartphone in their hand, Xennials occupied the sweet spot. According to Nature Neuroscience, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for complex planning and personality development, doesn't fully mature until our mid-20s. For Xennials, the internet arrived exactly when our brains were most plastic. We learned to code HTML on MySpace while still remembering how to use a card catalog at the library. We are the Oregon Trail generation. We remember the pixelated graphics of the Apple IIe in the school computer lab, and we learned early on that if you didn't plan ahead, your entire party would die of dysentery. That game wasn't just a pastime, it was a metaphor for our lives: adapt or disappear. This unique brain wiring makes Xennials the ultimate translators in the modern workplace. Have you ever been in a meeting where your Gen X boss is complaining about the kids these days wanting to work from home, while your Gen Z coworkers are wondering why anyone would ever use an Excel spreadsheet when there's an AI for that? You are the bridge. You understand the hard-ass work ethic of the analog era, the put your head down and grind mentality, but you also see the efficiency and necessity of the digital revolution. You can read a paper map, but you're also the first one to figure out how to use ChatGPT to automate your workflow. You aren't threatened by technology because you saw it being born. You don't treat it like magic, you treat it like a tool. And because you remember a world without it, you have a perspective that younger generations lack. You know that the world doesn't end when the Wi-Fi goes down.
However, being a Xennial isn't just about cool gadgets and nostalgia. It's also about being the generation that got hit the hardest by the financial trap. If you were born in the late 70s or early 80s, you likely graduated college or entered the workforce right as the 2008 financial crisis hit. While Gen X had already established their careers and bought homes when prices were lower, and younger millennials were still in school, Xennials were in the dead zone. We were the first generation to take on massive student loan debt under the promise of a guaranteed high-paying career, only to see the floor drop out from under us. We were the pioneers of the side hustle. Long before it was a trendy term on TikTok, Xennials were working 3 jobs just to stay afloat, because the stable career our parents promised us had vanished overnight. This created a specific type of grit. We don't trust systems, we trust our own ability to adapt. We are the generation that learned you have to be your own safety net. Let's talk about one of the most valuable things Xennials possess that money can't buy: privacy. Think about the stupid things you did when you were 14. Maybe it was a bad haircut, a cringy outfit, or a heated argument with a friend. For a Xennial, those memories exist only in blurry Polaroids or in the minds of a few people. They aren't archived on a server. They aren't searchable by a future employer. This lacks a digital paper trail, and it's a psychological blessing. We grew up without the constant pressure of being on brand. We were allowed to fail, to be awkward, and to change our minds without the whole world watching. This has given Xennials a level of mental stability and a lack of FOMO compared to younger generations. We don't feel the need to document every meal or every vacation, because we know that the experience itself is more valuable than the proof of the experience.
But this bridge status comes with a cost. There's a feeling of gaslighting that many Xennials experience. The media constantly talks about the clash between boomers and millennials. They talk about the jaded Gen X and the anxious Gen Z. But Xennials? We're often left out of the conversation entirely. It's like being the middle child of history. We're too young to have shared in the post-war boom and too old to be considered digital natives. This can lead to a sense of being left behind or ignored. But I want to flip that script. Being ignored is actually your secret weapon. While everyone else is arguing over generational labels, you are the ones quietly running the world. You are the managers who can talk to both sides. You are the entrepreneurs who combine old-school customer service with new-school tech. You are the resilient humans because you've survived the transition from one world to another. So how do we use this Xennial power? First, recognize your value as a mentor. You have a survivalist skill set that is disappearing. You know how to focus without a smartphone. You know how to build a relationship that isn't mediated by a screen. These are becoming high-value skills in a world that is increasingly distracted. Second, lean into your adaptability. You are the generation of the pivot. Whether it's a career change, a new technology, or a global crisis, you've been through the fire before. You saw the transition from VHS to streaming, from pagers to iPhones, from office cubicles to remote work. You are built for change. If you're listening to this and nodding, I want you to take a moment to realize how rare your perspective is. You are part of a 10-year window that will never happen again. There will never be another generation that remembers the sound of a 56K modem and also knows how to prompt an AI. You are the curators of human history. You remember the before, and you are shaping the after. As we look toward the future, the world is only going to get faster and more digital. The pressure to conform to the algorithm is only going to increase. But you have an anchor. You have the memory of a summer afternoon where the only thing that mattered was finding a payphone to tell your mom you were staying late at a friend's house. Use that anchor. Don't let the digital world consume your analog soul. Keep your ability to disconnect. Keep your Oregon Trail grit. And most importantly, keep being the bridge that stops the world from falling apart. Before we wrap up, I have a challenge for you. Think back to a very specific memory or an object from your childhood, something that only a Xennial would understand. Was it the smell of a freshly printed ditto sheet? The sound of a cassette tape being wound with a pencil? Or the specific frustration of your skip protection CD player failing the moment you stepped off a curb? Drop that memory in the comments below. Let's build a time capsule of the Oregon Trail generation. And if this video helped you feel a little less alone in this weird hybrid world, hit that like button and subscribe. We're going to be diving deeper into the psychology of modern life, burnout in your 40s, and how to thrive in an age of distraction. You've survived the transition to the digital age. Now it's time to master it. Thanks for watching and stay resilient.